David. He definitely seemed to have fun at Coachella this past weekend, hanging by the bar, taking pictures with fans, more fans, even more fans, having a really good time with the vlog squad, and most importantly, avoiding a very big scandal that he got in around the end of last month. If you guys remember, David was called out a little bit ago for having promoted a certain NFT. He was paid a lot of money apparently to post an Instagram story telling people about this Bored Bunny NFT, which has since been revealed as a massive scam, basically. Bored Bunny got called out for having a bunch of influencers promote their NFT only to have the value of these NFTs go down extremely quickly. And with NFTs and crypto being so new, it definitely is pretty sketchy to promote stuff like this just because you never really know what you're actually promoting. And if you don't know it that well, you don't know the world that well, you don't know what you're promoting, it just isn't a good idea to promote something that you're not 100% about. Anyway, after a Bored Bunny came out with a certain number of NFTs, they started releasing more and more of them. And then the value of their NFTs kept going down with each release. And even though the company promised that the value would be going up 2 times, 5 times, and even 10 times in value, that didn't seem to actually be happening. And it didn't look very likely for that to happen in the future either. So the company basically went ghost because people started to complain about the fact that it was losing value and they just were not getting any of the things that they were promised. And the whole thing just felt like a scam. And nobody was getting any of the answers that they wanted from the company. So with people super upset with this company, they obviously were going to be even more upset with influencers who promoted Bored Bunny in the first place. And David Dobrik was one of many influencers who promoted this NFT. But with David in particular, he promoted this NFT specifically to young kids. Can you believe it, you guys? I mean, seriously. Besides the fact that you didn't even do research in order to, see what you were even promoting in the first place, but to promote it to impressionable young kids that follow you, oh my goodness. That's a mess and a half right there.
So I wanted to get my feet a little more wet with some NFTs, if you know what I mean. So I kind of went to the tippy top of the NFT world, and check this out. I got a Bored Bunny. And not only is it Bored Bunny, but it looks like me. Look at that. We have the same hat. It's so sick. If you're young and naive, just like my brother, and want to get into NFTs, you should check out Bored Bunny. They have literally over 150,000 people in their Discord, so it's like a ginormous group chat. If you're interested at all, just start it on their Instagram page. All right, let me know.
And that's exactly why David was called out the most for this out of everybody that promoted this NFT. I mean, there are people like Jake Paul, Floyd Mayweather, Chantel Jeffries that were also getting called out for this, but David primarily made his target reach for this NFT brand deal to young kids. And these young kids probably blindly trust him without knowing any better than to do their own research on the company. So why he directed his ad at younger kids looking to try their hand into NFTs, I'm not sure, but it was definitely a big mistake and he honestly doesn't seem to regret it. And I am saying that because the silence is so loud. David hadn't made a public statement about it when he was getting called out about it at the time, and the only person to really address the issue of what was going on with this whole scam and how David messed up was FaZe Banks. FaZe came out to say that this same NFT company actually reached out to him too and offered him a big chunk of money to come and promote their NFT. But he said that he has been in the NFT crypto world for a while now, he did his own research, and he decided against promoting this company. He ended up revealing that he actually decided to meet up with David following this whole scandal and sit down with him to educate him more on NFTs and crypto and the entire world and how everything works, and talk specifically about what the scam was in this situation, what David messed up with, and how him doing this really affects a lot of people. And promoting things like this just is not okay. And he said this on his Instagram story. He posted a picture of him and David sitting down to record an episode of David's Views podcast. And I mean, it's clear as day. They're sitting there, they're on the set, they're filming this episode. And FaZe also posted on his Instagram story talking about what him and David discussed in this episode that they recorded. He said that they sat down and David took accountability and he was going to do something to right some of the wrongs that he had done in this situation, including doing something good with the money that he received from the brand deal.
Board Bunny approached David. They approached me as well, as you saw a few slides ago, and offered him somewhere in the ballpark of $100,000 to promote, one-of-one honorary Board Bunny that they had made for David. David looked at it through the lens of, NFTs are hot, cool, everybody's talking about them, this is art, this is a collectible. I see nothing wrong with shining light to this project and this art and these artists. And that's what he did. Obviously it left his followers holding a bag. These guys ran off with however much money they made on Board Bunnies in the secondary and on Mint. Obviously sucking millions of dollars out of the ecosystem. David got paid and, people got, which is just all bad. So I appreciate David for addressing this so candidly and honestly and openly, talking openly about figures and just kind of admitting to the fact that, he's totally clueless and ignorant to this NFT game. And ultimately, he was paid $100,000 somewhere in that ballpark, and he's ready and willing to distribute that money back into the ecosystem, whether it be to Board Bunny holders, whatever. We're gonna brainstorm that and figure out a good solution.
And everybody just kind of was sitting around thinking, okay, wow, look at David sitting down with FaZe pretty quickly after this whole thing had come out, and he was going to be addressing things. And as everybody knows, David really doesn't sit down to address literally anything at all, especially in a timely manner. The fastest that I've ever seen David address anything was when Jeff was recently calling him out and Casey Neistat was about to come out with a documentary at South by Southwest about him. He got on his podcast channel so quick to talk about how he messed up and talk about Jeff and blame Jeff and all this stuff. So I've never seen him move so quick. I was like, maybe David is going through something where he actually wants to address things right away. Nope. Because where is that podcast episode? The podcast episode with him and FaZe talking about all this hasn't come out. And if you guys think that David pre-films episodes months or weeks ahead of time and then posts them, nope. Because he posted a video today talking about Coachella. And when was Coachella? This past weekend. I think some of his segments are filmed ahead of time, but I feel like he would have already used the FaZe one, and we're already at Coachella, so he's clearly caught up on most things. So clearly he scrapped that FaZe Banks episode, or I don't know what's going on. He's literally just sitting on his accountability. I really wonder what FaZe Banks is thinking or what's going on there, because this whole thing people are wondering. Obviously not that many people are talking about this scandal at the moment anymore, and I'm sure that's exactly what he wants. But the people that did get scammed by him, people that, probably are impressionable kids that put their money into this or put their parents' money into this, that freaking sucks. Sucks so bad. And I've been seeing people here and there saying that David is avoiding this whole thing, but specifically Jeff decided that he was going to call out David for this. On his recent podcast episode, he had Mike on and they were talking about crypto scams, and that's how this whole thing was brought up. He was talking about David getting into a scam and wondering where that freaking episode with FaZe Banks was.
Okay, the audience is dropping like flies as we talk about NFTs. You made your point, and a very good one. Yep. Speaking of that, David had Banks on the podcast, and fucking where's that episode, Who's doing NFT scams? We would never do NFT scams over here.
It's just a weird thing to say.
We're loyal. We're loyal to our fans. We don't scam them.
We're just good, genuine people.
We are.
I'm in the middle. I'm friends.
It's the East Coast. It's that East Coast.
Whoa.
All right. Continue with this.
Yeah, there's the story. But
it really is just such a mess, and not a shocking one. As I said, David just doesn't like to address literally a thing at all. He usually just rides things out, and sometimes that's how issues get bigger and bigger for him, because he doesn't address them right away. But like I said, he doesn't seem super bothered by this literally at all. He's posting like normal. He had a great time at Coachella. He's talking about his whole experience on his podcast, living life like normal. People definitely think it's a little weird that he recorded a whole video talking about taking accountability only to never release it. So I don't know if FaZe Banks is going to call him out or, come out and say something about it. I feel like That's like the weirdest aspect of it. If he had recorded a video on his own taking accountability, I feel like he could get away with scrapping that because no one would know about it. But the fact that he sat down with FaZe Banks, who took this whole thing so seriously, only to not release it or have it not, I don't know why he wouldn't release it yet. What is it going to come out in like a week or so? It's like weird. So who knows what's going to happen? I definitely want to know what you guys think in the comments down below, because it's just one of those weird freaking situations. Like, I don't know why certain people do certain things that they do. And yes, I still sound like so gross because of Coachella, but still no COVID, tested negative, no flu, nothing like that. It's literally just like dust and poor air quality, and this is just how my voice is, just coughing up a storm. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Also, thank you so much for all of the positive responses on my last video. I freaking loved doing that Coachella video for you guys. I wish I was like going all over again just to get more tea for you guys because it was so fun. But I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.